Intellectuals, very smart people, push the culture forward. You drive a car, but how much about the car do you understand? How much of the car could you reproduce? How much of the car can you remanufacture? You personally as an individual. Unless you're a mechanic or unless you're an engineer, probably little to none. At scale. You're on a cell phone. How much of that cell phone do you understand? How much of that cell phone can you articulate and explain and teach to someone else so that they can understand? And how much of it can you reproduce and remanufacture? How much of it can you reverse engineer? Unless you're an engineer, or unless you're in that field, studied in that field, practiced in that field, you're going to have you're going to be hard pressed to do that. Little to no people will be able to do that. So we use technology, your television, your computer, your PlayStation, your MP3, the cloud, your vehicle, your cell phone, all types of electronic devices. But we don't understand them or how to reproduce them. What we learn is how to utilize. We learn how to use. We learn how to operate those systems, but we don't learn how to produce them. Very few people grab their computer, take it apart, see how it works, and try to reverse engineer it, or go to the store, buy the parts, and build their own from scratch. I don't mean all the pieces already put together and all you're doing is connecting, 7 or 8 parts, 10 or 12 parts. I'm talking about manufacturing from scratch. So smart people push the culture forward. People who understand how you live in a house. Can you build a house? Can you remanufacture the house? Do you understand the interworkings of the house? Do you know how to build a house from scratch? No, but you live in one. You know how to operate one, right? And so your body, do you even understand the intricacies of your own body? Most people don't, unless you're studied in that particular field. Do you understand endocrinology? Most people don't. Do you understand biochemistry and all of the many systems that are working together in harmony to function a human body? Can you break that down from scratch? No, usually people can't. But they know how to walk and talk and they know how to use the body to a certain degree, but they don't understand it. So there's very little that we as humans understand, and the people who do understand those things in their particular disciplines of genre of applicability of those understandings, they push the culture forward. You have clothes on. Do you know how to make clothes from scratch? So society really doesn't know. Everything we see in this society is a mirage. Everything you see in society today is a mirage. The Mirage of the Matrix, the mirage of quote unquote civilization, modern civilization. These are all fallacies. These are all things that we've conjured up. These are all things that we've pulled out of the atmosphere. Uh, uh, and when you see apocalyptic films, for instance, if one of the coronas on the sun were to be a certain level of explosive, a certain level of nuclear density, that traveling at a certain speed at the right direction of the Earth, that would cause an EMT, an electromagnetic pulse, that would supersede the ability of our electromagnetic shield to defend. And then when that energy hits the planet, it's going to cause an EMT, an electromagnetic pulse, the likes of which take out all of the electricity that we're utilizing on the planet. And we'd have to start all over from scratch. And immediately, we would be thrust back into the Stone Age. Immediately. And so, can you grow your own food? Do you know how to make clothes? Do you have enough things stockpiled to have any type of ability to survive? Do you know how to filter rainwater? Do you know how to hunt for game? Do you understand how to live near some sort of water source, some sort of flowing water, right? Do you understand nature? We don't even understand nature anymore because we've cut out our cardboard, cement, steel boxes in the jungle and pretended that it was civilization. But you still got deers on the freeway, and you still got animals making their noises 24 hours a day in this metropolis because it's their planet too. We're all they're out here butt naked and afraid, right? We live in a facade of societal norms and modern amenities, and we have no idea that we're living in a matrix where the real world is there. Ask a homeless person about the real world. Right? So the world that we've been able to manufacture on top of the real world, the matrix, if you will, is delicate, sensitive, and is a house of cards. We still running wires clean across the country from 100 years ago, but we got wireless devices in our hands. Why isn't everything Wi-Fi? Why isn't why is the electricity coming into your house still coming through wires? Because they destroyed Nikola Tesla and they went with Edison instead. And when they decided to go with Edison, that's how you get all these wires instead of pulling all the energy straight out of the ether, the same way Tesla wanted to. Not Elon Musk, not a car company, the wizard himself. Free energy for everybody on the planet. And of course, JP Morgan wasn't trying to have that, so he stopped funding Tesla and continued to fund Edison. And even after Tesla was able to do what he did at the World's Fair, it wasn't enough. They destroyed him because he was too ahead of his time. And the matrix that really should be 100 years ahead of this. But The elites want to extrapolate all the natural resources of the planet, run the planet into the ground before they decide to run the world more efficiently. They're hell-bent on the direction they've been on, and unless there is a global consensus to stop global climate change amongst all leaders, amongst all oligarchs, amongst all dictators, amongst all people, then we're going to continue to plunge society and the world back into the Stone Age, because the Earth cannot. Our current use of the natural resources of the planet is unsustainable in perpetuity. And so we're running ourselves into a brick wall at 1,000 miles an hour, and nobody's doing anything about it. And so you better prepare yourself and your family for a possible calamity. And that's not trying to be an alarmist. It's just saying, prep yourself.